Welcome back to Crime Chats. Tiny room, microphone, endless crimes.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today, Lisa?
Okay, so today I have a doozy for you guys. You wanted super twisty, so this one is twist after twist after twist.
Okay.
So, it's awesome, and I hope that I'm praying that you haven't heard of it yet. So this is the case of Cari Farver. Before we get started, I wanted to tell you about our sponsor, No Stone Unturned Investigations. I honestly couldn't be more thrilled about this. Full disclosure, the owner is my father-in-law. Hi, John. Honestly, though, I'd be telling you guys about him even if he wasn't my father-in-law. He is incredibly intelligent, resourceful, and one of those people who genuinely loves solving problems and helping others. He truly cares about everyone he helps, and he's got a warmth about him that just puts everyone at ease. As a licensed private investigator serving Texas and New Mexico, he helps people locate missing individuals, reconnect with birth parents, identify heirs, conduct background and social media investigations, and much, much more. He even helps attorneys with litigation support and process serving. Basically, he does it all, and he does it all well. If you ever found yourself searching for answers and hitting a dead end, that's the person I'd call. He will help you solve mysteries with discretion and integrity, and he will leave no stone unturned. Visit nsupi.com or call 512-766-7794.
Welcome back to Crime Chats.
Yay!
I'm Hillary.
And I'm Lisa.
Thanks for stopping by today.
This is going to be another times where you're imagining.
Okay, do I need to close my eyes?
Yes.
Okay.
So imagine you're getting texts from someone you dated for a little while but broke things off with.
Okay.
Also imagine you're a man.
Oh, well, sorry, that broke my whole, okay. My man.
Okay. At first, she's heartbroken. I mean, who wouldn't be if it was me? Then she's angry.
Oh.
Then she's threatening to burn your house down.
Oh.
She starts messaging your family, your coworkers, new girlfriends. This girl is everywhere.
Okay.
You can open your eyes now.
Okay, I did. I was
Okay, so your name in that exercise was Dave Krupa.
Okay.
So Dave Krupa he's a 37-year-old mechanic from Omaha, Nebraska. He's a hardworking father of two. He broke it off with, I guess, him and the mom.
Okay.
Ended a really long relationship, so at this point he wants something new but casual. He wants to keep things casual, but he's very upfront about his intentions, which is great. I love when dudes can just be upfront. It doesn't happen very often, you know?
Yep. It reminds me of Diane Downs, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The guy that she was, I don't want children. Okay, let's kill them all. Yeah, no, that's not what he said. He just said he doesn't want children.
Yeah,
Anyways, okay,
so he just wants something casual. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Okay.
He goes on the dating platform Plenty of Fish.
Bad.
We both have bad experiences. So first of all, Plenty of Fish is the worst app I've ever seen. First of all.
Yep.
But second of all, you don't find good quality people there. I feel like that's where I met that Australian guy that yeah, me too. I was excited, right? But then he was like, well, where do you want to go? And I said I wanted to go to Olive Garden. And then he laughed and he said, can we go someplace less corporate? And I was like, but I like me some Olive Garden.
You asked me what I want. That's what I want.
And then the entire time at dinner, every 10 minutes or so, he'd just laugh about Olive Garden. And I'm like, bro.
Nope. Bye.
Anyway, I never saw that guy again.
My worst experience from Plenty of Fish, I think I told you about, maybe not, I don't know, was when I was in college and living with my college roommate, best friend, Valeria. I met this guy and we talked and it seemed great on text and messaging and things, but then the first thing looking back now, I'm like, that's a huge red flag.
It's always hindsight is 2020.
He messaged me about where do you want to go? We're going to have dinner or lunch or something. And I said at that time, and I still do, we just don't have them here in San Antonio, but when I was going to school in Arlington, we had Black Eyed Pea.
Oh, I think you took me there once when I visited you.
Loved that place, yes. And I said, that's my favorite restaurant. He goes, oh, I know. That was the first red flag, and I was like, okay.
I know. How do you know?
So that was the first one. But then when we were there, first of all, ladies, gentlemen, whoever, if you're going on a blind date, or with a date with someone you've never met in person before, have a backup plan with someone you trust to get you out of there safely. And I did with my roommate, best friend Valeria. Shout out to you if you're watching. I had a schnauzer at the time, Chloe. Remember Chloe?
Yeah.
Okay. And she lived with us in that apartment together. And our game plan was if things go hairy, I'll text her, and be like, help, or SOS or enact plan or whatever our code was. And so I did that because things were not good. The whole time we were eating, this boy, only talked about Pokemon. Every Pokemon card he'd ever received or traded or gotten, and I was just sitting there.
A first date is not the time to bring out
you can like Pokemon. That's great. First date material? Probably not. Especially if you're getting the vibe that she or he is not into that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was like, I need to go to the bathroom. So cliche, but I did. And I was in there, I was like, Valeria, help. And I was like, okay, give me 2 minutes and call me. Okay. So I went to go sit back down. She called. She goes, I'm so sorry. And I should have earned an Oscar for that performance, I think, because the plan was...
And the award goes to...
that Chloe escaped the dog.
Uh-oh. Which
she was known to do, right? She would... I don't know if I remember her that well, but...
I feel like the best lies have, like, a tiny bit of truth in there.
Mm-hmm. And so I was just like, and then I told him, I was like, we need to go home. I need to go home. My dog got loose. And this boy, I'm not calling him a man because he's not a man. I mean, I'm sorry, maybe you've grown up. But he picked me up, first of all. So we drove in his truck. He drove us to the restaurant. He drove slower than molasses to get home. And I was just like, do you not understand? My dog is out. I need that help. Go.
Step on it a little bit. Yeah.
And he was just talking. And so we get there. Bless Valeria, because that girl should have also gotten an Oscar. She went the extra mile and was all sweaty, like she'd been running around the complex and was holding my dog. And I was like, you got her. And anyway, so that was the part. And then at the end of this date, creepy on a first date, y'all, he takes my hand and he like eye contact and kisses it like some kind of romantic. I'm like, I don't know you. Don't do that. Nope. That was...
Hand kisses are so much more... They're like...
intimate.
They're more intimate. They're more personal. That's
right.
Don't...
And I was just like, nope.
And like eye contact too. Like what? Like just...
That was the weirdest date I think I've ever been on. And that was from Plenty of Fish. So...
Yeah, Plenty of Fish is just... I mean, first of all, it's called Plenty of Fish. Like, get a better name for your dating. Anyway.
And it's like notoriously bad now. Like, if you've had a positive experience with Plenty of Fish, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Or a bad one.
Anyways. So he was on Plenty of Fish. So he explicitly seeking casual. He was very upfront, which is good. Initially connected with Shanna Liz Golyar. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not, because they shared interests in motorcycles and heavy metal.
Cool.
So
So you can talk about heavy metal on your date.
Don't talk about Pokemon. Talk about metal. Anyway, so now let's talk about Shannon Elizabeth Liz Golyar. She was a single mother of two from Omaha, Nebraska, who met Dave Krupa in late spring or early summer of 2012. She is physically described as a pint-sized woman, so shorty like me. And she was 5 feet tall. I'm 5 feet tall. Anyway, she was initially characterized as bright, shiny, and very energetic. Known for being engaging, and they liked each other, heavy metal and motorcycles. Also, pause, squirrel moment, before I get too far into this. I had an epiphany, another one, about why Ted Bundy scares me so much.
Oh, okay.
One of the reasons, I look like all of his victims.
But you don't part your hair down the middle.
I do sometimes, or like I don't part it to the side or whatever, but yeah, anyway. I was like, long brown hair. Yeah. I do the middle part most of the time. Yeah. I had that epiphany in the car and I was like,
thing he's no more.
Yeah, I was like, it's a good thing I was born in 1990 when he was like already dead.
Way gone. Yeah.
The universe is like, you are good.
We saved ya. That is creepy.
Yeah, no, had it been back then and I was at Lake Sammamish that day, like who knows? You know?
You have trouble saying no sometimes. Because we're too nice.
It's true. I am very trusting. Anyways, back to this case. So their relationship, like I said, began after connecting online dating, Plenty of Fish. His relationship that he had just broken up with was like a 12-year thing. So he was definitely not in any mood. Okay. So it's 12 years, 2 kids. Like he was like, I am not.
No commitment.
So they dated semi-regularly, him and Liz, and Dave initially felt the arrangement was the right mix of companionship and personal space, so, like, they weren't constantly together, kind of.
That's healthy.
As the relationship progressed, Liz's pathological jealousy and possessiveness became to show its face. Because when you meet someone for the first time, you're not gonna show them all the sides of you. So she started going a little cray. So it became more evident she was, like, possessive of him, and she would frequently blow up Dave's phone with calls and texts if he was on a date with another woman. They were keeping it casual, so he was, he was like, but she knew the deal. But she was texting him all the time, getting angry with him. She even, to kind of try to make a deeper connection happen, she wanted, like, a 1-month exclusive engagement with him. That was, like, her failed attempt to create a lasting bond. Like, okay, so for 1 month,
just me.
It's just me. Yeah. And we'll see. But, like, he wasn't into that. And it's funny that she even did this, because while she was seeing Dave, she was also involved in an off-again, on-again relationship with a man named Todd Butterbaugh.
We have a hypocrite. With
whom she eventually lived. Yeah, so this girl was crazy, and Dave didn't know, and then, anyway.
Okay, well, question then, if she's also participating in polygamy, I don't know what to call that, right? She's not monogamous, and they both know that.
Yeah.
And not even, like, how dare she, but why would that bother you?
Because I'm a woman, and I can do these things, but you can't. Because you're supposed to be obsessed with me, and I'm the woman.
So does she...
I don't know.
We don't know, but I'm guessing. Did she not do that to the other guy she was seeing? We don't know.
We don't know.
Or it was just this one?
Eventually, they Liz and Todd Butterbaugh eventually lived together.
Okay.
Okay, so then we have Cari Farver, which I told you this was the case of Cari Farver. Right. She is a 37-year-old single mother and information technology professional. She's living in Macedonia, Iowa. Described as gregarious, bright, and hardworking, she was known for a distinct laugh and a smile that drew people to her. She was exceptionally close with her mother, Nancy Rainey, and devoted to her teenage son, Max, who she'd raised alone. In the fall of 2012, Cari had recently landed a new job as a computer programmer in Omaha, Nebraska, where Dave is, which she viewed as a life changer for herself and her son. Cari had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression in her 20s. While she occasionally struggled with the side effects of her medication, her family noted she was in a very positive place mentally and professionally.
I'm sorry, interrupting again, but I want to say what a breath of fresh air it is to hear of someone struggling with a pretty notoriously negative mental disorder, the bipolar, and in such a healthy way.
Yeah.
Like, she was taking her meds, and yeah, they sucked sometimes, but it was helping her.
And she was in a positive place. She was in a good place.
I think that's really incredible. I think that's cool.
Yeah. So Cari Farver first met Dave in late October of 2012 when she brought her Ford Explorer into his auto repair shop, which I feel like is, like, such a meet cute. Like, that's such a, like, there's movies about, like, the lady with the busted up car, and then the mechanic is like, I don't know how to fix it. The mechanic is like, the big strong mechanic is like, oh, I'll fix it.
Like, I think you might need to bring it back for another, whatever.
Dave mentions an immediate spark that he felt with her. So shortly after their meeting at the shop, Dave saw Cari's profile on the dating site Plenty Fish and reached out to her. And like Dave, Cari was upfront about her desire to keep their romantic connection casual and non-committal. Okay. So he was like, jackpot, I found a woman finally who wants what I want, nothing serious. Okay. So during Cari and Dave's very first evening together at Dave's apartment, Liz Goliar arrived unannounced. So this is crazy lady from before. Yep. To retrieve some belongings that she had left at his place.
Okay.
So as Cari left to avoid the awkward tension, she and Liz passed each other in the hallway for a brief glance of only 3 to 6 seconds long. Right. So they, like, saw each other, and yeah. So in November of 2012, Cari was assigned a major project at work that required long hours. To avoid her hour-long commute from Macedonia to Omaha, she arranged to stay at Dave's apartment for the week. She spent the night of November 12th with him, and around 6:30 in the morning on the 13th of November, she kissed Dave goodbye and left.
Can I make a prediction?
I'm going to try not to react to it.
Don't react to it, because it may be wrong, it may be right. I'm thinking crazy lady Liz, right, is, like, scoping out his apartment and noticing that this new lady is allowed to sleep there overnight for more than one night. I wasn't. That's more commitment than you
What?
ever gave me. I don't know. So I'm thinking maybe she notices that, or she makes that connection, and then you said they pass each other in the hallway or something like that. That might, I'm guessing, I'm thinking that might be her tipping point of like, how dare he?
Hold on to that
Okay,
thought.
okay.
So around 10 a.m. that same morning, so she's been gone a few hours, Dave receives a text from Cari asking to move in together. Very surprising since Dave made his intentions clear and they both
she did
had,
too.
right?
Yeah, okay.
So when Dave reminds her that he wanted to keep things casual, he was met with a barrage of vitriolic and profane messages, claiming she hated him and never wanted to see him again.
Making connections, but okay.
So just suddenly... So Dave returned to his apartment during his lunch hour to find that Cari and all of her physical belongings were gone. She was just like, F you, like,
right.
whatever, I can't believe you don't want me to move in. Anyway.
I have two thoughts.
Okay.
Two branches of thoughts of where this can be going. Either bipolar moment.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because it's not her normal self, and maybe she's having a low, and she's like, I don't know, could be that.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be Liz, the crazy one, has stolen her cell phone or done something to pretend she's, I don't know, pretend she's her. So I'm one of those I'm thinking might be right, but it could be wrong.
So that same day, Cari's mother, Nancy Rainey, received a text from Cari's phone claiming she had taken a new job in Kansas. Shortly after, Cari's employer received a text from her phone stating she was resigning and recommending Shanna Liz Golier as her replacement.
Oh.
Yep. This.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. For the next several years, Dave is relentlessly digitally stalked by Cari. So he was bombarded with a staggering amount of communication. He receives between 50 and 60 emails and texts per day, totaling over 12,000 messages over the course of the whole ordeal.
Wow.
Quote, I'm going to destroy the things you care about. And, quote, your life will be ruined for ruining mine.
Police.
So
that's a threat. Police. Yeah.
So Liz actually says she was also being targeted by Cari. She was always referred to as a fat whore in text messages from her. This shared harassment drew Dave and Liz back together. They rekindled their relationship, leaning on each other for comfort because they felt like fellow victims. So the messages were often eerily specific, so describing what Dave was wearing or what he was doing inside his home, leading him to believe he was under constant surveillance.
These texts, I messed up in my head. So these texts that he's getting are coming from Cari, not Crazy Liz.
No.
Okay.
And so Liz is also getting these crazy messages now too. And so Liz and Dave have now this shared like
trauma or whatever.
Something's happening. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, quote, I see you're sitting in your chair with your feet propped up wearing a blue shirt. Things like that. So Dave is like, holy shit, Cari has eyes in my apartment and is staring and is stalking.
Did he ever go to the police?
So the digital threats then turn into physical acts. So both Dave and Liz reported multiple incidents of vandalism, including Liz's car being keyed and Dave's property being spray painted with insults directed at Liz. In August of 2013, 9 months after Cari was last seen, Liz Golier's house was burned to the ground. While Liz and her children were not home, her 4 pets were killed in the fire. Cari sent messages claiming responsibility for the fire. She says, quote, I'm not lying. I set that nasty whore's house on fire. I hope the whore and her kids die in it.
Again, police. Arson is a crime.
So Dave eventually moved and changed his phone number to escape the harassment, but Cari found him on new dating apps and continued the stalking. Dave later described himself as being on the verge of a mental breakdown, which, I mean, me too, who wouldn't be, due to the constant paranoia. So while Dave was being stalked, Cari's family desperately sought answers. So Nancy Rainey, Cari's mom, filed a missing persons report on November 16th, 2012. Police initially dismissed it as a voluntary disappearance because Cari had a history of bipolar disorder. This is, again, one of those times freaking cops think they know freaking everything.
Well, and back to, I don't know, last episode or a couple before, adults are allowed to just go.
Yep.
Which, if it's out of character, listen to the family.
Yeah, just cops just think they know everything, and, like, that's why a lot of the times, like with the Jeremy Bamber case, like, they knew it was him. So, like, they weren't going to listen to anything else.
Pigeonhole, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So when police initially dismissed Cari's disappearance as a voluntary mental health crisis, Max, her son, used strategic validation texting to challenge the person behind his mother's digital accounts.
Ooh, smarty pants.
So in December of 2012, Max messaged his mother's Facebook account with a simple "hi." When the person texted back and said, she replied, "Hey, little man, how are you?" So Max was suspicious of the tone and responded with 3 security questions that only his mother would know.
Smart kid.
So he asked her, "What is my middle name? What was our first boxer's name? And who is my best friend as a little kid?" He never got a response to those questions. The silence provided Max and Nancy with the definitive confirmation they needed that Cari's identity had been stolen, though it took years for investigators to officially catch up to this realization.
How?
Following this failure, the Cari persona posted publicly on Facebook claiming she had answered enough questions and just didn't want to come home.
You don't get to do that. You're claiming you burned someone's house down. You are a criminal.
I just don't want to come home. You can't make me. I'm an adult.
Yeah, true, but you also are self-reporting guilt of a major crime. So, no.
So in January of 2013, Cari's Ford Explorer was found in a parking lot near Dave's apartment. The interior was unusually clean. So the case remained cold until 2015 when Pottawatomie County, I didn't pronounce that right, I'm sure. So the county investigators Ryan Avis and Jim Doty volunteered to take a fresh look at the files. They began to suspect foul play because it was not normal for an adult to vanish for over 2 years without touching their bank accounts or being seen by anyone. Some specific reasons for their suspicion turning toward Liz included Detective Doty noted that Liz's name was all over all the reports as a focus of harassment and making her a common denominator in every incident.
Right.
Working with IT specialist Tony Cava, they re-examined digital downloads from 2013. They discovered a photo of Cari Farver's car on Liz's phone that had been taken on December 24th, 2012, which was weeks before the police even found the vehicle. So why would she have a picture of Cari's car?
Yeah.
Investigators traced the bulk of the harassing messages back to the home of Todd Butterbaugh, where Liz had moved after her own house burned down.
Oh, interesting.
So the primary pieces of evidence that led to their suspicion in 2015 included fingerprint identification. So in September 2015, a single fingerprint found on a mint container in the center console of Cari Farver's car was definitively linked to Liz Gollier.
And
so the car was unusually clean, but there was like one on a mint container that they tested, and eventually it came back and it was Liz's fingerprint.
And there would be no reason for her fingerprints to be inside the other woman's car at all. So yeah that's pretty damning. Okay.
And then investigators analyzed a photo sent to Dave Krupa by Cari showing a woman bound with duct tape in a car trunk. Forensic analysis proved Liz had staged the photo of herself to frame Cari as a kidnapper. So the photo was of herself all tied up in the trunk. And forensic audits of phone records from 2012 discovered that Liz had made 6 calls to Cari Farver's home using the *67 prefix to hide her identity, which I used to think was...
Shout out to our 90s and 2000s comrades.
Did you ever make prank calls?
Oh, all the time. Can I do a rabbit hole really quick?
Yeah.
Squirrel moment. When I was at spending the night with my best friend in middle school, like late, maybe 8th grade, we kind of got our butts handed to us because when we were doing that middle of the night, doing stupid prank calls, and one person that answered was a woman, and she was all sleepy but sounded very frantic, and so we said something stupid, because it's a prank call, and she ripped into us. She goes, "You don't understand. My son is a soldier serving overseas, and I'm waiting for a phone call," and we were just like, "Okay,
sorry."
And we never did that again.
Oh.
That definitely got us, yeah.
Oh god. Also, I thought it was *69.
That's to
but that might be
what just called you.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, if you're
also, I was thinking like 69. Like I don't know. Well, like maybe my brain was like maybe my brain just thought 69 because of Tiki 69.
Right. And if you don't know because you're young or you were a good person and never were brat child, star 67 was to hide your phone number coming in because caller ID was brand new.
Yep.
And so you could call in as a private number or an unlisted number with star 67 before whatever phone number you punched in.
All right, so December 2015 rolls around. So police suspicion was fully cemented following the events of December 5th. So Liz reported being shot in the leg at a park and blamed Dave's ex-partner and mother of her children, Amy Flora. Amy Flora, I didn't really get into her because she's not like super involved.
Okay.
But she at a park, Liz calls, "Oh my god, I've been shot in the leg by Amy Flora. Amy Flora is the person you need to talk to," whatever. So investigators use the following factors to conclude the incident was fabricated. So suspicious.
Shocker.
Suspicious timing and preparation. So only 24 hours before the shooting, Liz met with investigators to report that a gun belonging to Dave Krupa had been stolen from his closet. She described the weapon in detail and proactively blamed Dave's ex-partner Amy Flora for the theft. Detective Ryan Avis found it highly suspicious that she predicted the specific weapon and perpetrator just before she was shot with that exact type of gun.
And it's a non-lethal shot. Something someone could have done by themselves. Or my other thought was the Butterball, or what's his name?
Butterball.
That's his name?
Mm-hmm.
He's involved in it now too or something, and so he helped her get tied up and stuff and put her in I don't know. Those are my two thoughts right now. But I'm pretty sure she's doing this all herself because she craves attention. I don't know.
Also, Amy Flora had an airtight alibi. Okay. So when Liz reported being shot in the leg at Big Lake Park in Council Bluffs, Iowa, she immediately identified Amy Flora as a shooter. However, when police arrived at Flora's home shortly after the report, they found her at home with her 2-year-old son. So she's at home with my baby.
If you're going to frame someone for a crime, check their alibi before the police do.
Yeah, like, where are they at? Like,
not official advice. Please don't commit crimes. But be smart. If you're going to be a criminal, be smart. Or don't.
We have a lot of advice. I feel like we've had, like, don't defend yourself in court.
Don't buy a big suitcase.
Don't buy a big suitcase. Yeah, exactly. That one is just to stay alive, to not be the victim. Yeah. Weird, yeah. Also, the cold car evidence. So when they got to her house, apparently after the thing, the car was cold, which means it hadn't been driven or whatever, which I wouldn't even have thought of that. So I'm like, oh yeah, the car would be cold because it hadn't been driven. Duh, but like that's not something that I would have just naturally thought about.
Right.
Over the following days and weeks, Liz's description of how the shooting occurred varied significantly, further ending her credibility. So basically the investigators were like, okay, blah, 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 whatever, lady, like you're crazy.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
When recounting traumatic events, giving Liz, the benefit of the doubt here, which
we've talked about this before.
90% sure she's guilty, but when recounting traumatic events, it has also been proven by, psychological things, tests and stuff, or not tests, but research, that the victim of traumatic events often remembers things that they didn't the first time, or it was like, wait, no, that's not where I was standing. I was actually over here. Yeah, and so to be, play devil's advocate here for Liz could be, but I'm wondering how different her stories were,
But like it wasn't just the varying accounts; it was all the other stuff too.
Right.
Like,
that makes sense.
Cold cars. They were like, okay, well, your story doesn't even stay consistent, and we have all this other stuff. So obviously, you're just a crazy person. So investigators quickly determined it was highly suspicious that Liz described Dave's stolen gun in detail the day before the shooting, only to be shot by a mysterious figure less than 24 hours later. They concluded she likely shot herself, which, imagine, you gotta be, like, really dedicated.
Unfortunately, there's a bunch of cases like that where, the bad guy harms themselves to try to be believable.
I just can't. This is another squirrel moment, but I used to watch the show One Tree Hill, and there's a scene where Nathan goes after like this guy that just ran over Haley, his wife, and kind of beats him up, and then he ends up dying. He like crashes into something, and then like that kills him. But then Nathan is like, "Oh my god, I killed him," thinking that he just punched him to death. But then the dad says, "Son, you need to leave," and then he like beats his hand against the street to like take the blame. But even that, like, I'm like, ow. Like, I don't know if I could. I mean, for my kid, I probably would be able to.
There's probably some
adrenaline or whatever, but like, just, when you can, like, you hear his finger break, and I'm like, oh, anyway.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's, people do some crazy stuff to cover things up or to help people out.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so by late 2015 and early 2016, detectives were so certain of Liz's guilt that they changed tactics, pretending to believe her story about Amy Flora to encourage her to provide evidence that eventually contained details only the killer would know. So, believing she had successfully manipulated the police, Liz began forwarding emails to detectives that were reportedly from Amy. These messages contained explicit details about the murder of Cari Farver, such as the fact that Cari had been stabbed in her own vehicle, her body was wrapped in a tarp, and her remains were later burned. So these confessions sent via email, authored by Liz Goliar while she was impersonating Amy Flora, contained chilling and highly specific details about the murder of Cari Farver that only the killer would have known.
So she's blaming the mother of the children of her lover.
Children, yeah. And it's what's hilarious about this whole thing is Liz and Dave didn't even date for that long.
He doesn't want her.
He was very clear about just wanting something casual. I don't understand.
I love this though when the police finally start to just play along. Then the bad guy's like, "Yeah, so smart.
I'm so smart. They love me and they believe everything I say." Yeah. Narcissism. So the details she shared were so. The killer stated they attacked Farver with a knife, stabbing her 3 to 4 times, specifically in the chest and stomach area. The attack took place inside Farver's own vehicle, her Ford Explorer. One email described driving with Farver before stabbing her. So drove her around, showed her the town before. And then, in a particularly disturbing detail, this email claimed Farver remained alive for a time after the stabbing, begging for her life while the killer watched the life drain from her body. And then she said the body was wrapped in a tarp. The killer confessed to later burning the body, and the remains are reportedly placed in the garbage or a commercial dumpster. And then, more details. The confession noted that Farver's vehicle was cleaned after the murder. The killer admitted to posing as Farver after the murder to maintain the illusion she was still alive. And one email explained that the killer went to Farver's home to collect some of her clothes and belongings to make it appear as though she had voluntarily run away. The email described the interior of Farver's home with precise detail. To prove the confession was real, Goliar described a yin-yang tattoo on Farver's left hip, a detail that had never been released to the public. So in February of 2016, a technician removed the cloth seat covers on the passenger side and discovered a large pool of dried blood soaked into the seat foam. DNA testing confirmed the blood belonged to Cari Farver. So this discovery was paired with a fingerprint found on the mint container, so that fingerprint on the mint container. So with the combination of the blood in the car, the fingerprint, and the detailed confessions that only the killer could have authored, police had enough probable cause. Liz Goliar was formally arrested and charged with first-degree murder and second-degree arson in December of 2016. So some challenges to this was, following the arrest, prosecutors were concerned that the trial would be a toss-up because they still didn't have the body. So no body, and they didn't have the murder weapon or definitive primary crime scene. So they didn't know where they have a body, no body, no crime kind of thing. So while they identified Cari Farver's blood in her vehicle and a fingerprint linking Liz to the car, they were worried about securing a first-degree murder conviction without physical proof of death.
Okay.
So in early 2017, in a last-ditch effort to find more dirt or concrete evidence on Goliar before the trial began in May, investigators Jim Doty and Ryan Avis turned back to Dave Krupa. They specifically asked him if he had any old electronics or devices stored away that might contain evidence, given Liz had frequently used his devices during her on-again, off-again, whatever they had.
Liz frequently used his.
Yeah, so during their whatever, I guess they
So she would have had access to his contacts.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, why would that matter? But okay, I see now.
So in February of 2017, Dave Krupa, so just a couple months before the trial started, Dave Krupa discovered an old tablet computer in his storage locker that became the final breakthrough in the investigation into Cari Farver's disappearance. While the tablet itself did not have texting capabilities, it contained a micro SD card that provided the definitive evidence needed to convict Liz Goliar of murder. Digital forensic specialist Tony Cava performed an audit of the SD card found in the tablet, and although there were no existing files visible on the card, Cava was able to recover between 11,000 and 13,000 previously deleted photos and numerous text messages.
Incriminating ones?
So the most damning evidence recovered from the card consisted of a close-up photograph of a decomposing human foot and thigh. So investigators and family members identified the remains as Cari Farver's based on two highly distinctive tattoos visible in the images. So the first one was the Chinese symbol for mother on the top of the left foot and that yin-yang symbol on her hip.
Again, if you're going to commit a crime, don't
take
document it.
Yeah. Also, like, if you're gonna take a picture of the dead body because you're like, look what I did, don't take a picture of the identifiable parts of the body.
Just don't do it. Don't take pictures. Just don't do the crime.
Well, if you must, right? Like if you said if you must get murdered, don't do it in the UK. If you absolutely must take a picture of the body you've just killed, just don't take pictures of identifying shit.
Right.
You know?
I mean, and you think you're so smart. You're not. You're not. If you're a criminal, you're not smart. Oh. Thanks for watching.
The end. So a forensic pathologist testified that the foot in the photograph showed clear signs of decomposition, providing the first medical evidence that Cari was dead. So a forensic link to Liz Gollier. The tablet served as a direct link to Gollier's personal devices. Digital forensic analysis proved the SD card had been used in Gollier's LG VS920 cell phone, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Pause for a second. I don't know if I missed it or I forgot it already. I thought the tablet was his.
He had a tablet, but then they found an SD card in the tablet. So I guess she had, like, taken the SD card from her phone and, like, put it in, I guess, to try to hide stuff. Yeah.
Her own. Okay. That was a little bit smart. I'll give her that.
Yeah.
Give her that one.
Yeah, she had to try for that one.
Okay, fine.
Took effort. The SD card, like I mentioned, 458 of the 13,000 recovered photos were identical to photos found on Gollier's phone during a previous police download in 2013. So she was, like, downloading photos onto his tablet so that they could be like, they're not on my phone.
Right.
They're on his. Right. He must have done it or something like that.
Shift the blame.
The card also contained selfies Gollier had taken around the time Cari first went missing. Evidence from the tablet found just months before the trial commenced in May of 2017 ultimately became the cornerstone of the prosecution's successful case against Gollier.
Okay.
So now we get into the trial. So May 2017 is her trial. So Gollier decided to waive her right to a jury trial. Another dumb decision, because you can sway a jury. She not only did this once, but twice. So as a result, her fate was decided solely by Judge Timothy Burns in a 10-day bench trial.
Okay.
Chief Deputy Douglas County Attorney Brenda Beadle admitted the high stakes of the circumstantial trial, saying, we were all worried that there was a possibility that Gollier could walk out of here, because, again, they didn't have a body and whatever. So
fair enough, yep.
So throughout the trial, Gollier showed no remorse for her actions. In a bold move, she even wrote a letter to the judge asking for a lighter 30-year sentence so she could be released in 15 years, while continuing to try and implicate fictitious friends for the crimes. So she was like, this guy named Billy. It was Billy. My friend Billy. You've never heard of Billy?
Nanny the Nanny? Does that ring a bell? Casey Anthony?
Oh, yeah. So even after the damning evidence from the tablet was presented, Gollier continues to maintain her innocence, quote, and attempted to blame fictitious friends for writing the incriminating emails. It wasn't me. It was Billy. I told you, Billy.
Zanny the Nanny.
Zanny the Nanny.
He's back.
And, yeah. Gollier's legal team's primary argument was that the state could not prove a crime had been committed because there was no body, no murder weapon, and no identified crime scene. This led to the case being viewed as a toss-up, as I mentioned before, that could have gone either way, as it relied entirely on circumstantial and digital evidence.
Okay, you're going to say something. Okay, go.
But this trial set a precedent. So the case reached the Nebraska Supreme Court, State v. Gollier, where it became a landmark ruling. The court affirmed the digital forensic evidence, when supported by credible expert testimony, is sufficient to establish a murder has occurred, even without a physical body.
That's impressive. Okay.
Yeah.
I have many thoughts, but the one right now, and I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget, but like all of the emails and the messages and things, technologically forensic evidence, whatever you want to call it, right, has an origin device. I mean, now, 2026, we know those things, right? If you send it from your phone, there's a stamp, basically, like a technological stamp saying this came from
or like
VPN
email sent
or
from
whatever.
your phone will say like sent from my phone or
The
whatever.
ISBN, no, whatever, where you can tell which
IP address.
Yeah, which network you're connected to when you sent the thing, the file, the photo, whatever, what device you were using, all of these things. It's there. It's stamped on the delivery, the status of that file.
Mm-hmm.
I was not. I was a teenager, I guess. No, it was 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I was an adult. What am I talking about? I was doing my own thing, I guess. I don't know. I'm the longer time goes on, I think the more we understand about technology. I still know absolutely nothing, pretty much, but I get those kinds of things. Was she not, or was the court case not explaining that well, or did we not know that yet, or?
Well, so I mean that's why this is a landmark case, because before that wouldn't have been enough.
That wouldn't have. Okay.
So this why it set a precedent. So
right.
now
Okay.
So that trial, and then afterward the new thing was if there's digital evidence and experts are saying like, hey, that definitely is a decomposing foot, that's enough to be like, okay, well, you don't need the physical thing anymore. So Shanna Liz Gollier was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for the first-degree murder of Cari Farver. In addition to the life sentence, the judge handed her a consecutive sentence of 18 to 20 years for second-degree arson related to burning down her own home.
And killing her pets.
And killing her pets to frame her victims. Yeah, like, what? I hate it when animals die.
It's another red flag, though.
Yeah, that's one of the
hurting animals. Yep.
Yeah, one of the things. The sentencing took place on August 15th, 2017 in Douglas County, Nebraska. Cari's mom, Nancy Rainey, gave a heart-wrenching statement at the sentencing, noting that while Gollier received life, quote, she gave my grandson a life sentence of not having his mother there. Rainey also spoke to the pain of not being able to find Cari's remains. Quote, my daughter wanted to be cremated and thrown to the wind, and I couldn't do that for her.
She never gave up where she put her?
No. In a later appeal to the Nebraska Supreme Court, Gollier challenged her conviction by claiming a trial counsel provided ineffective assistance by failing to adequately advise her of her rights to a jury trial, but she turned down the jury trial twice, and Gollier is currently serving her sentence at the Nebraska Correctional Center for Women. So she is never coming out.
Good.
The sad part about it is Cari was dead the whole time.
Yeah.
And this was like years of Liz pretending to be her, and
it's gotta be exhausting, first of all.
Yeah, like, so I
move on.
I don't understand people that can keep all of this stuff straight. Like, I'm like, I would never.
Double lives and yeah.
That reminds me, actually, there's a documentary about, it's called Scamanda. So this lady named Amanda fooled everybody into thinking she was dying of brain cancer or something, and she got like so much money and so many gifts and so many all these things. And so they raided her house, and they finally like discovered that she was doing wire fraud and all this stuff. The detective told me that these people that lie constantly, and like they have a lot of anxiety because of it. Like, they usually drug themselves with Xanax, and so he said that like when he raided the house, he like took one look at her and was like, "You're so high right now, huh?" Like, 'cause she was just like, she was on her couch just like chilling. And so I didn't know that. So that I like when I'm listening to a podcast about like a crime, but then I learn things. Like, I learn things not just about the crime, but about how, like, because it makes sense, right? Like, you have all these lies to keep
Gotta keep straight, yeah.
And it's like nerve-wracking and stressful, so you take medicine to cope with the stress. So
yeah, I haven't watched anything on that case, but it's everywhere. I mean, it's pretty notorious at this point. And there's so many examples of criminals trying to cover up their crimes with additional crimes. It's like, you're going to get found out. Things are going to get too stressful for your little brain.
Yeah, like, she thought she was so smart burning her own house down.
Right.
And then pinning it on Amy? I don't know.
Amy.
And then shooting herself in the leg and pinning that on Amy too. And like, why would Amy care? Like, she's
like,
the mom. She doesn't even like.
She's at her house with her kids.
She's like,
I got enough to care about.
Yeah.
Aye. And seriously, no person, man, woman, doesn't matter, is worth this.
Yeah, like, you
if
guys
he's
weren't
not
even dating that
into
long.
you, rejection sucks. but you'll move on, you'll grow, and you'll be better.
I would have understood this more from Amy, because that was a 12-year relationship.
Right.
And she had 2 kids with him, right? So she
got
went
resentment
bananas
built
and whatever,
up,
yeah. But him and Liz didn't even, like, they weren't connecting. I mean, Liz even suggested the 1 month exclusive, whatever, when she wasn't even being exclusive.
I'd be curious to hear Butterball's, I don't know what his first name is, I'm sorry, that's just a fun name. Todd? Okay, I'd be curious to hear his description or characterization of her.
Yeah.
Like how she acts with him.
Yeah, that was one thing I should have done more research on that, but
I'd just be curious because typically, thinking back to Bundy, you know, criminals who have these separate lives are different people in those lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious if she was crazy and controlling in his relationship
too. And how can you keep up? Like, I mean, this is why Ted Bundy blew my mind so much too. Is like, how do you keep up relationships with other people while you're doing all of that?
Right.
Like, just how do you have the mental capacity and the time?
I'm exhausted just
yeah, like I need a nap. Like, I need a nap thinking about it. It's insane.
It's sad. It's pitiful. I mean, it just is. And I don't know, maybe not just defending her actions. Maybe her childhood was void of affection. And
that's
so
why she needed attention. That's probably, that's probably it.
Any attention is attention, right? Good, bad, whatever. So sucks for the people on the other end of it. I mean, ruined so many lives, you know?
Yeah. And it probably had, like, nothing to do with Dave. It was just somebody rejected me.
Right.
And is moving on with somebody else that isn't me.
Yeah.
You know? And he just got caught up in it. I feel bad for Max. Because I mean, to not know, like, your mom just disappeared. You don't know she's dead until, like, 4 years later, and then you're figuring all this out, and
he was a smart kid. He was the one who was, like, testing whoever had hacked the accounts and stuff.
Yeah, there's interviews with him. So I listened to a podcast about this case a while ago, and they have, like, interviews with Max where he's talking about, you know, all of that, and it's just, it makes me sad.
It's sad.
Because she was a good person. Cari was a great person, by all accounts.
Right.
So, like...
And she did nothing wrong.
She didn't do anything wrong.
Anything wrong.
But, like, how dare somebody paint her to be this, like, crazy, awful person, you know, when
Vindictive,
really she's just, she was a great person, and she died. She was murdered, and it's sad.
Interesting thought. You just spurred in my head, like, maybe Crazy Liz is just projecting all of what she is onto this person she unabashedly and completely unprovoked, whatever, hates, you know? And so she's like, you're going to be everything that people think I am.
Yeah. So that was a good twisty one.
That's a good one.
For you.
One of my predictions was right. It was...
Yeah.
Crazy.
I liked you guessing, but I wanted you to, like, stop guessing, too. Because I was trying to keep it a surprise.
Huh. Okay. So, again, bipolar didn't make anybody do anything.
Yep. She was taking her meds. She was in a good place. Screw that cop that was like, wow, she's bipolar. She probably ran away and blah, blah. Which I didn't get that dude's name because who cares?
Oh, right. Man. Yeah, that was a good one. You said she had 2 kids.
Yes.
So Max and...
No, sorry. Cari only had 1.
Oh, okay. Amy had 2.
Amy had the 2 with Dave.
Okay.
Yeah. Dave had 2 kids. Okay. It's wild the things that people will do. Like yesterday I was talking to you about, like, the maternal instinct case.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it doesn't, that you can be so deluded, you know, like that, so delusional. But as I'm learning in Mindhunter, right, he's talking about the difference between, like, a psychopath and, like, a psychotic person. So somebody who just, like, the difference is you know what you're doing, and you plan what you're doing, and you, like, have your thoughts are cohesive and premeditated, whatever. And, like, the true psychotics, they just, like, they do stuff. It's not very common, like you were talking about. Like, only a small percentage of the population can fit into that not guilty by reason of insanity kind of
which thing. Is, it should be one of our seasons.
Oh yeah,
like where people either
actually are or
actually are where it actually works in their defense.
Oh, okay.
Because or they really try, or they fake it but fake it well.
Yeah, like Winnie Ruth Judd, who killed her friends, she tried. to do insanity.
There's so many. But again, very few of them are legitimately suffering from psychosis or some form of psychopathy. But I mean, immediately I think of one in my head. I don't remember his name, but I can see the interrogation video. It's a man. He might be like late 20s, early 30s, and he's just confessing to, very matter-of-factly, to the detectives across the table. And
I did that.
He's like, yeah, I picked him up at Walmart. And the detective's like, and what was your intention? I was going to kill him. But just like completely void of emotion, matter of fact. And he goes, so the detective's like, later on, you know, what do you think should happen to you? You know, he goes, oh, I should be punished for my crimes. Just, you know, like that. It's interesting to see that take versus, I hear voices. And then when the detective leaves, they're perfectly fine. It's totally, you can tell the fakers versus the ones that are like, something's not right, you know, and those are usually the ones that are legitimately suffering from psychosis or psychotic breaks.
And just because you've had a bunch of trauma in your childhood formative years, that does not mean that you are insane. That does not mean that because of the trauma. A lot of people try to use, like, I was traumatized as a kid, and now I'm crazy. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, no. Right. You did know what you were doing. You just believed that it was the right thing to do for you at the time.
Or believed that you could
get away
with it because you're a victim, too.
Yeah. Hurt people.
No. You're a grown adult.
Yeah.
You make your own decisions. Screw your past if it sucks. It sucks. Move on and build a better future for yourself, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I hate that. Like, well, he was abused as a child. Yeah, that sucks. That absolutely sucks, and that's awful and terrible, and we should try, the parents or the guardians of those people, hopefully within a timely manner, that doesn't give you a pass to be bad.
Yeah. That you were like the guy that was like, oh, I should probably be punished for my crimes. So that reminds me of, Ed Kemper, when he turned himself in, he was actually asked, I guess John Douglas and his partner were interviewing him and asked, you know, do you think that you could be rehabilitated? And Ed Kemper said, I shouldn't be let out.
Yeah.
I should never be let out. He actually, John Douglas actually said he was like the smartest serial killer that he'd ever like spoken to.
And that's scary.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I feel like there has to be some level of smarts if you're gonna be a solo, because you have the disorganized killings that are just like, they're just crazy and all over the place and chaos, and there's a lot of evidence and whatever left at the scene, and then there's the organized ones that are, you know, thought out, and I feel like those, like, you need to have some kind of smarts.
I agree. I mean, yeah.
But his IQ is also pretty high. Which he said, I mean, this makes sense, but like the disorganized ones will have like low IQs.
Or average, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would think, again, I'm not a killer. I would think
you're not.
if you're going to the extreme of ending someone else's life as an average Joe person, not a psychopathic genius level IQ serial killer, if you're just a Joe Schmo and you decide to do this, you know, murderous act, it's more stressful, I would imagine, than I think Hollywood portrays it, or what we kind of hear or see in the news, versus your serial killers. They're serial for a reason. It happens more than once. They have a pattern, they have a plan, and they know what worked and what almost got them caught, you know, those kinds of things. So they're constantly revising their methods.
There's the signature, which is something they just are compelled to do every single time. So the MO is what they need to do to kill that person. The signature is just what they do just because it's compulsive, and then you have to do that. Like if they, like the extra torture or the, you know, specific way that
biting your butt cheek.
Yeah.
Which was
that would be signature because that wasn't required for the death to occur.
Right. Yep, fascinating. I know, we could have a whole nother podcast just on the serial killer.
Yeah, man.
The Criminal Mind.
The Mindhunter books are so good. I'm already almost done with the second one, guys. I'm eating these up.
Does that kind of wrap us up today?
Yes. That was it for my, the rest is just my sources. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. I thought this one was pretty twisty. A good first twisty case. And next week is your turn.
I have a good one.
Yay!
Yes. I've had it already done, researched all my notes and everything for months. I'm just kind of waiting for the right time, and I think this is the right time.
Yay!
And I don't think you've heard of it.
Okay,
so
probably not.
It's a bizarre one.
So I hope that you guys enjoyed the story of Cari Farver, really the story of Liz Goliard, but it's not about her. It's about Cari Farver,
right.
who was a wonderful mom and a wonderful person, and she should never have lost her life.
Nope.
I'm sorry, Cari Farver.
Rest in peace,
For what
Cari.
happened to you. Rest in peace.
Thanks, guys, for watching,
Yeah.
and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. And now I will end the stream.
I like to sing about my name time.
Yeah.